Hi everyone, welcome back to the Pre-Cal 40S videos. In this one, we're going to look at section 4.4, Introduction to Trigonometric Equations, or trigonometric equations. Okay, you know what? Let's refer to them as trig equations from now on, because you clearly saw how hard it was for me to say that. So I want to try to avoid that. Okay, so just to give you an idea, this is what we're going to be seeing. We're going to see some sort of an equation. We're going to be given a domain that we have to find the answer on. And then we're going to have to figure out what values, what angles are going to satisfy these equations. So what I'd like to do is just kind of show you real quick that you could either use your unit circle. So some of you are really good at memorizing the unit circle and having it down. Personally, I like to do the chart. And let me just, kind of show you how quick it is to write out the chart from scratch. So here I'm just going to say sine, cos, and then tan. And I start at 0, 30, whoops, that's not a 30, 45, 60, 90. And this is going to be the first quadrant of my unit circle. And here in radians, this is going to be 0. Then I have pi by 6, pi by 4, pi by 3, and pi by 2. So it's exactly the same chart that you did if you were in my class in grade 11. But now we just add in the pi values, the radians above here. So remember, we start with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Easy, right? Square root everything. And then divide everything by 2. So these are all of our values that we need. Now reduce ones that you can. So you can reduce this one so that it's 0. And you really don't need the square root on here because it's the same thing. And this one is reduces to 2 over 2 or 1. So I'm going to use the reduced values to get my next line. 1, and I'm just going to copy this line out backwards. Root 3 over 2, root 2 over 2, 1 over 2, and 0. Okay, so my chart's like that. All right, and now tan is sine divided by cos. So I can just take the numerators of each of these values and write them out on top of each other. This is 0, 1 over root 3. You can rationalize the denominator to be root 3 over 3. This one's going to be 1. This one is root 3, and this is 1 over 0. So we say it's undefined. All right, so there it is. You need that, and you also need the cast rule, which tells you which trig ratios are positive in the respective quadrant. So cosine is positive here. They are all positive here. Sine is positive here. Tan is positive here. Otherwise, they are negative. So that's where the negative values come in from. Okay, now that I have this, I am going to start my equations. First thing I need to do is I need to isolate my theta. Now, my theta's my cos theta. So let's add 3 to both sides. We're going to have 2 cos theta equals 2, and divide both sides by 2, and I end up with cos theta equals 1. So now I need to figure out where on my unit circle is cos theta equal to 1. Now that happens at the end. So right here, this is 1, 0. Also remember that cos is x values and sine is y values. So you could also write down p theta equals cos theta sine theta. Okay, then you have your x here and your y value here for the unit circle. Now, I need this answer in terms of degrees. So theta in this case is equal to either 0 degrees, and if we're looking at this domain is actually starting at 0, and then it's going all the way around, that's 360, and then it's going another 180 more, and it's landing right here. This is not a part of my solution here. It doesn't fit in the domain, but this 360 that we landed on does. So this is my answer to that equation. All right, so let's have a look at B. B says we've got 4 secant x plus 8 equals 0. Isolate your secant x, subtract 8 on both sides. You end up with 4 secant x equals -8. Divide both sides by 4. You end up with secant x is equal to -2. Now remember, secant is 1 over cos. So 1 over cos x is equal to -2. And then solve it so that cos is up. So we can just take the reciprocal of both sides, and we end up with cos x is equal to -1/2. Now, I want to look at my table here. Where is cos equal to -1/2? Well, cos is equal to 1/2 at pi by 3. So my reference angle is pi by 3, or 30 degrees. So I am going to have cos x equals, let's see, which quadrant says it negative? Cos is negative here and here. All right, so now we're just going to be counting to our pi by 3. So if I have it here, I should do this over here. If I have it here, and if I have it here, then if I'm counting by 3s, this is like pi by 3. This is 2 pi by 3. And then this is 3 pi by 3. So then this is going to be 4 pi by 3. So those are my two answers. So x is equal to 2 pi by 3 and 4 pi by 3. And just double check that you are making sure that you are in the domain that's stated. So this is my answer for that one. Okay. So we're going to be doing much of the same for the rest of the questions to figure out how to solve the equations. Sorry. Now this one here, you want to factor your sign out. So I'm going to start you off on this one, and I'm going to let you finish it. And I'm going to let you actually pause the video and see if you can finish the other questions. And then I will reveal what the answers are to all of them. So just a reminder for this, when you're factoring out, set each factor equal to 0, and you're going to end up with 2 equations that you're solving. Okay, so you're going to solve this one here, and then you're also going to solve this one, sine x equals 1. So you're going to solve 2 separate ones, and then you're going to have all of your answers together in one spot. And this one here, a hint for this is a difference of squares factoring. So you're going to end up with tan theta minus 1 and tan theta plus 1. Okay, they're multiplying to each other, and that will result back to this. And you're going to have 2 that you're going to solve here. It's 2 equations in a sense. This one also, you have to make sure that you are within the stated domain. Okay, so be careful about this question. All right, so hit pause and we'll come back with the answers to the rest. Okay, so hopefully you actually hit pause. I'm just getting my answers ready for you, and I'll very quickly take you through it. Okay, so here for C and D, well, I'll cover up D. So we're factoring the sign, right? We end up with 2 equations that we need to solve. Now, in this one, we have sine is equal to 0 here, and it's also equal to 0 here. So this is the y value that we're looking at of our xy coordinate. And we have to eliminate this one because it is not within the specified domain. So that's why our final answer only has these 3 angles. Okay, so now let's look at this tan question. So if you're using the chart that I have that I wrote out earlier, you're okay. But if you're using the unit circle, you're going to have to think that sine over cos is equal to tan theta. All right. And then you're going to end up getting your answers that way. So if we are ignoring the domain, we're going to get that tan theta equals 1 at pi by 4 and 5 pi by 4. And tan theta, what solves this one here, tan theta is equal to -1 at 3 pi by 4 and at 7 pi by 4. But this here And this here, these two angles are not in the specified domain. So we have to actually go backwards in order to get these answers. So what's the equivalent way of saying 5 pi by 4? And what's the equivalent way of saying 7 pi by 4 in this domain? What are they? Well, it is negative 3 pi by 4 and negative pi by 4. So all four of these angles satisfy this equation here. Okay, so now this E is easier, I think, because it's already factored. Now, one kind of silly thing that people do when they are not paying attention is they won't notice that it's factored. Notice that it's factored. It's less work, folks. Set each bracket equal to 0 and then go about solving exactly as we did before. And there are your four angles that will satisfy the equation given in the specified domain. So the next page has 3 more questions. And what I want you to do is I want you to try these on your own. I'm not going to put the answers on this video. We're going to have a look at this in class and discuss these questions. So make sure that you notice if a question seems to be unfactorable, then you will have to use the quadratic formula in order to solve for x or theta. So we'll refer to that on our formula sheet if you need to remember what that is. Okay, so the next video I'm going to talk about the general solution, and we'll see you soon, folks.